honor and a pleasure to share with you in this joyful and momentous 100-year celebration. I thank you for including me as a representative of the Tillberg family. Speaking on their behalf, I offer heartfelt congratulations. Wonderful time. My name is Deborah Miller Robb, the eldest granddaughter of Walter and Bertha Tillberg, and the eldest daughter of Marlowe Tillberg and Emerson Miller. My personal recollections of Walter and Bertha revolve around them only as Grandma and Grandpa. I never even heard Grandpa preach till he had retired from Trinity. I grew up in Davenport at St. Paul's, where my father was pastor. So, all my Tillberg memories are just wonderful family ones. My association, the actual association and recollections of Trinity, began in 1981, when we returned to the Quad Cities, when my husband Joe accepted the call as associate pastor here at Trinity. He went from here to be director of pastoral care at Trinity Medical Center, and at that time in 1988 it was still Lutheran Hospital. So for this series of Echoes from the Past, I will be reading the personal recollections and memories of my Aunt Marlowe Tillberg Nordlander. She lives on Cape Cod and truly regrets she was unable to travel to be here today to present these thoughts in person of being a Tillberg daughter in a pastor's house in a Trinity church. These are some recollections on life at Trinity in the first half of the 1900s as related by the current sole surviving daughter of Walter and Bertha Tillberg, Marlowe Tillberg Nordlander. She includes what she recalls as her dad's memories and the things she experienced personally. Marlowe speaks. Dad was in the seminary at Augustana in 1915 when Mom came to the music school at Augustana College. This is when she and Dad met, and they went together that year. In 1916, Mom returned to her home in Chicago to teach music. Dad received the call to Trinity in 1916 when he was ordained. He said he was the third man offered the job because two others must have turned it down. But he saw real potential for growth in the Moline area. He said his first task was to try to get the Swedes and the Germans to work together and get along. Have they accomplished that? Dad received a leave of absence from Trinity in 1917-18 to go serve as a military camp pastor stationed in Texas in World War I. Mom went to Texas in June of 1918, and that's where they were married. Living conditions were extremely small quarters in a hot and humid climate with no air conditioning. They returned to Trinity later in 1918. There was no parsonage at the time, so they rented an apartment near the church from one of the members. Daughter Marilyn, who is my mother, was born in April 1920. During that summer, Mom walked with her in the carriage and saw a house for sale at 1111 14th Avenue. The folks bought it for $7,500, and they lived in it for 55 years. And Mom was there alone another 7 years till she moved to Forsberg Village in 1982. Early Trinity Church was a small building at the current site, right on the alley. But the church grew substantially, and by 1922-23, there was a need for a bigger building. Thus, the current red brick structure was constructed church membership continued to grow and was a vital part of our Tillberg lives. Both Mom and Dad were remembered, among many things, for several particulars. It was related to me by other pastors and friends who said they enjoyed attending Trinity and hearing 20-minute Tillberg preach. Those were the days when sermons were much longer. Dad also had rather innovative approaches to a sermon, and many recall his telephone conversation with God one Sunday. I would like to have heard that. Dad's last sermon at Trinity used portions of Abraham Lincoln's farewell address to the people of Springfield before he left for Washington, D.C. to become president. Mom was very involved and active at Trinity as well. She was the leader of the Luther League for many years, certainly during the time we daughters were in our teens. The Luther League met in the room of the church off the dining area, which also served as a choir room. They had good programs and good attendance because Mom worked hard at getting the youth there. Mom was also in charge of the cradle roll for many years. This was a common program in the earlier Lutheran church that no longer exists. She sent special cradle roll birthday cards to every child up to age 5. That was quite a job, for there were many children at Trinity in those years. I remember Mom would prepare a week's worth of birthday cards and put them on top of the piano and then send them so that they would arrive right on the child's birthday. Both Mom and Dad worked very hard at Trinity in those early years and beyond, but they both loved the church very much and knew that this was their calling. They were at Trinity 43 years, so the family never experienced moving to new schools or having to make new friends. Dad married all 3 daughters at Trinity, but soon after Pat, the youngest, got married, Dad retired from Trinity, and the folks went to serve for 5 years in a rural church in New Era, Iowa, where Mom also became the organist. I have many fond memories of my days in Moline and at Trinity. I can only say to the members of Trinity, a thank you for the way you treated us. I never felt you were watching the preacher's kids and judging us. You seemed to accept that we were just kids growing up. But being such a good congregation, all 3 of us girls loved the church and stayed close to it all of our lives.